Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Crafty Chemist Designs, where today we are going to make this fun, easy, beautiful gatefold card. Let me share this to the group. And while we're waiting, once you're here, say hello so I know you're here. If not, say hashtag replay so I know you're watching the replay. It is hard to find the live now that I'm streaming on StreamYard. Okay, there, I did it. Okay, so how's everybody doing? It is pretty cold here in Chicago. I don't know if it says what the weather is, but it's pretty cold, although we did not get any snow or ice yet. Let me know what the weather is in your neck of the woods, because I know some places are getting slammed with ice and a lot of snow. I apologize, I still have a little bit of a chest congestion and I'm a little bit hoarse. I did go to see the doctor this week and I'm on some medication, but hasn't taken away this cough. I am sucking on a cough drop so that I don't start hacking in the middle of my live. Um, okay, while we're waiting a couple minutes for people, I want to remind you that on January 7th, we have a lot of stuff going on. It is one of the most busy days that I've seen. First of all, the new January to April mini catalog is released January 7th. There's so much good stuff in here, and I have samples and things to show you. And don't forget, when you order, that it's the beginning of Celebration, January 7th through February 28th. Hi, Mom. So Celebration begins on the same day. So every $60 that you spend, you can pick a free item from this catalog. And look at how thick this catalog is. A lot of great stuff you can get for free, and that's for every $60. So if you spend $120, $180, $180, you get 3 items. $120, you get 2. $60, you get 1, and so on. There are a couple items in here that are um, at the $120 level, so they're a little, I don't know, bigger and better. So if you spend $120, you can pick one item from the $120 selection. There's just a few of those. Most things are the the $60. Hi Diana, how are you? What's the weather like there? There's also, besides the mini catalog celebration starting, there's also a new scrapbooking brochure that's going live on January 7th. And some online exclusive are going live on January 7th. So really 7 big things are going on starting on the 7th. I will be doing an impromptu, I guess not impromptu, but not my normal time live, doing a catalog walkthrough of the celebration items and things from the mini catalog that I have samples for. Okay. Okay, so today we are going to be making this Funfold card, and it's a double gatefold card. I've made gatefold cards before, but this is a double one where it's got these kind of flaps on it, and then it opens up. I would say I don't know, it's a cross between a gatefold card and one of those flying seagull cards. And I'm using this gorgeous paper. I didn't really do anything on the front of this card because I wanted this paper to shine, which it literally shines because of the gold foiling. Okay, and then I put a belly band on it. So this is what we're going to do. It's really easy. So hi, Jean. So grab some paper. You just need some cardstock and a little bit of pattern paper, and then something to decorate your belly band. Okay. Diana, is it snowing there? I did write a blog post for this because I wanted you to have the measurements. Okay, there is the link to the blog post. Diana, it's cold but not Arctic. I would say the same here. Yeah, cold but not Arctic. I mean, it's not like when we had the what was it? What was that called when the Arctic, I don't remember, when the little Arctic air swoops down to you know, coming to Chicago, Minnesota, and all that. Okay, so let me show you this paper, what I'm using, and you can see why I love it. Polar vortex, exactly. The polar vortex is what I was thinking of. Polar vortex. It's not polar vortex cold, but it's cold. I actually had on a shawl in here because it was really cold in my craft room. Gosh, I got a lot of little pieces here because I have used a lot of it. Okay, so let me show you some of these. This is called Marbled Excellence. And it is 164919. There you go. 164919. I do have a resource page for um, this card that I'll post here in a minute. That's got all of the details. But the colors in this are Cherry Cobbler, Flirty Flamingo, Melon Mambo, Petal Pink, Poppy Parade, Real Red, and Gold. And actually during I don't remember if it was during the, not during the convention, but they had like a summer, almost like a convention for the demonstrators. They had a segment where the designers showed you how they made this. And she literally took paint and, you know, uh, did put paint on the board, kind of slid it around, used different colors, and then flicked it with the gold paint. It was really interesting process. So this design is all handmade. That designer created all of this. So I thought that was pretty amazing. Okay, so this one you can kind of see it's got the flirty flamingo, melon mambo, is that what, petal pink? Yeah, petal pink, and then the gold. This one, this one doesn't have the, you see how this one's got the strip of that petal pink like through it. You've got this one. This one's all flirty flamingo with the gold. So pretty. That's this one. Okay. And one thing is that these, the backs of them have some really pretty designs. They're just overall like background designs. So you've got like the wow on the front and then like the blending paper on the back. Okay, so this was a little bit more of the real red and the cherry cobbler, a little bit of the cherry cobbler in here. This one, I love these gold, like looks like lava almost. I mean, look at that. This like lights up. Okay, so we did that one. This one, I like this one a lot. This is the one I think I used on my paper. It's got the splatter gold. And then the petal pink again. Okay, so I'm going to use some of these that I've already got cut, so I don't have to cut into some new ones. This is kind of similar paper to the Christmas. They had a Seasons of Elegance. This is called Hearts of Elegance, and the Christmas one was Seasons of Elegance that had the green and the blue and the like mauve colors. It's kind of similar to that. So if you have this one, the red, you could use the red. This is the Christmas one. I like this like peacock color, very pretty. And then the green. This would be pretty too. Oh, and then there's white. You know, this is some of that paper that is so pretty that you're afraid to use. That's how I feel about this one. That's why I've got almost all of this left. But if you have that, you can use that. If not, you can use this paper. Okay? But just grab some paper. You just need some cardstock. If you have one sheet of 8.5 by 11, that's enough. And then you need a little bit of pattern paper for the front of it. Okay, that is the resource page for this card, which shows you all of the products that I used. Okay? Okay, so let's get started making this. It's really, really easy. You can follow along on my blog post, periodicallycrafty.blogspot.com. Okay, and I have the cutting guide. It's kind of on the crease of the paper and then some directions. Okay, so let's get cutting. Grab your paper. Hi, Cece on Instagram. We're just making this as a craft along, so grab some paper. I am going to use Real Red. Real Red is one of the colors in the paper pack. You could use Cherry Cobbler, Flirty Flamingo, Melon Mambo, any of those colors. I did not have any more in the 8.5 by 11, so I am going to use a 12 by 12 paper. And the card base is 4.25 by 11. So let's cut this at 4.25. And this is a fresh 12 by 12. So I'm just going to cut off 1 inch off of here. Okay. So this is going to be my card base. Okay. And then you need cardstock for the belly band. So that's for the piece that I'm going to use to hold the card together. So that's this piece here. Okay, I used a piece that's 1 inch by 11. If you don't want a belly band, if you plan to do something else, that's fine too, but a belly band will help keep this closed. Okay, so I'm going to take the same real red and cut this at 1 inch. And then this again is a 12-inch piece, so I'm going to just cut off 1 inch from the end. Okay, so now we have our card base and the belly band. Okay, and then we need to cut these two pieces here. So these are not the same. I don't know if you can tell. These, on mine, this is one color, and then these are one color, and then they're not the same size. So these two pieces here are 1 inch by 5 1/4. You know what, guys? I told you wrong. This is not 4 1/4. This is what I have on my. This is what I have on my blog, but that is not right. This should be 5 1/2. 5 1/2. I hope you didn't cut yours yet. If you did, you can make a smaller card, but I apologize. This should be 5 1/2 by 11. Let me change that on the blog so that it doesn't confuse people. Okay, so 5 1/2 by 11 and 1 by 11. Okay, I changed it on the blog. Hopefully that didn't screw very many people up. Okay, so now let's cut. These ones are 1 inch by 5 1/4. 1 inch by 5 1/4. So these are the pieces that I have. And let's see, I think I'm going to use this one so it could be a little bit. I don't want it to match too much. We could use the back of it too. Why don't we do this one and this one? Will that look okay on the real red? Let's see. I think I'm going to do this one. I want this one and this one. I don't know. Do you guys vote for the like 30 flamingo, this one? I think I'm going to do these two because it's a little bit different. So again, you can use the backs to give a little bit of a variety. Okay, so this is the piece that I want to cut. Hi, Jess. I don't see a Jess on here, but hi. Okay, so let's make this 5 1/4. And then 1 inch. And 1 inch. So you need two pieces that are 1 inch by 5 1/4. And those are going to be the pieces that are on the front. So these pieces here, I'm using different ones than this. Okay. And then you need two pieces for here, here and here, that are 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. So this is 5 1/4. So this is 5 1/4. Okay. Let's cut this 1 3/4. I want to make sure I get a lot of that gold in here. And then 1 3/4. Okay. And I feel like these pieces have enough of the red to tie in with the real red, and then enough of the pink to tie in with the pink there. Okay. And then we need this white piece. This is 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. And I'm using basic white. Four by 5 1/4. And we will do the belly band afterwards, okay? So we'll use this for later. Okay, so we have the main pieces cut. Let me get out my scoreboard. Okay, so I'm going to unfold this so that you can see, compare this. Okay. So what we're going to do is score this twice on this side, and then I'm going to flip it around and score it twice on the other side. Okay. So you're going to score it. Get this out. Put it with the 11-inch side going across. Okay. And score it at 1 1/4. And 3 3/8. Okay, so the teacher in me will explain what 3/8 is. Remember that a half, so let's look at my scoreboard. 3 1/2, you know, a half is 4/8. Okay, so 3/8 is the little line right before that. These are marked in eighths, so this is 3 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. So it's the little line between the quarter and the half. Okay, so we're going to score there. So 3 3/8 or here. And then I'm going to turn around and do the same thing. 1 1/4. And then 3 3/8. Okay. So there's 1 1/4 on the ends. And then these are 3 3/8. Okay. Okay, so if we look at how these are folded, the 1 1/4 pieces are folded like mountain folds. You see how those are like mountain folds? So let's fold those kind of out like mountain folds. And then these ones, the 3 3/8, are valley folds. I'm going to fold those in. And if you did a good job, before you kind of burnish it a little bit, they should meet. You see how mine meet right in the middle without overlapping. It's like a perfect meeting spot. Okay. So I'm going to, now that I'm happy with how it's folded, I'm going to take my bone folder, okay, and burnish the edges so it stays kind of folded. And then burnish these pieces here in the middle. Okay. So remember, the ones on the outside are folded in a mountain fold, and then the two on the inside are a valley folds. Okay? Is everybody happy with that? Hi, Wendy. We're making these fun fold cards. It's a double gatefold card. Here's my sample. Okay. Okay, so now we can put the papers on the front. I'm going to use my multi-purpose Tombow glue. And I want this to be on the outside, so although this is really pretty. I don't know, guys. I hate to cover up that. No, I want it to be this way. I just hate to cover up the gold. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit, not too much, because I don't want it to squirt out everywhere. And then I'm going to center it on this piece here. You should have about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Because remember, this piece was cut at 1 inches, and we scored it at 1 1/4. So, okay, then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Again, I'm just putting a light bead of this glue around the edges, and I'm leaving a little bit of room for it to smoosh out, so it doesn't smush all the way out. Okay, and then I'm going to put this, center it on the right side, and I'm going to really try and pay attention so that they are even at the top and the bottom. So say you mistakenly put this on a little bit too low or whatever, you didn't center it very well, I would do the same thing with the other side so that those match up. Okay, so now these pieces go on the here. Okay, so let's glue those. Same thing, a little bit of a bead around, not right up against the edge. So it has a little bit of room to squish, and then I'm going to center this. Since I'm using the glue, I have a little bit of time to move it around, but I want to hold it down so that it will stay. There we go. Let's see, did a little piece. I feel like I got a little bit of glue on the end here. I'm just going to take my Mono Sand eraser and I think that was on my finger. There we go. Okay, got my fingers got a little bit of glue on it. And now I'll do the same thing on this side. I'm going to put it this way so that a lot of that gold shows. Is anybody trying to craft along? Anybody need the measurements again? It is on my blog, periodicallycrafty.blogspot.com. And all the measurements are on there. Okay, now I'm centering this on that spot. Okay, now I want to show you something. If you put the paper on before you score it and burnish it, notice that the decorative paper that's on the 1 1/4 inch segments is on one side, and then the paper that's in the, from the 3 3/8 section is on the back side. Okay, because when you fold it together, it will look like that. So don't go in here and put the 1 inch, the 1 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 1 3/4 inch, and now we're going to put the 1 inch here. I mean, you could put some here, but you don't, it's not going to show up on the outside. So you still will need to put something on the outside. Okay. Now we're going to put this 4 inch by 5 1/4 on the inside. I am going to stamp it before I put it in here. Okay, so there is a stamp set that goes along with this suite. It's called Hearts of Elegance. Okay, I'm going to probably put Happy Valentine's Day on the outside, so I will, I think, be doing this sending lots of love. Or I could do Be Mine, since I did sending lots of love. Maybe I'll do sending lots of love. I'll send this to Michaela. There's also these dies, which is what I used those for here. And next week, I'm making a scrapbook layout. Excuse me, I'm done with my cough drop. That's why my cough's coming back. I'm doing a scrapbook layout next week where I use a lot of these heart dies. Okay. So let's do sending lots of love. You can get this in the suite with the Marbled Elegance paper if you want. Okay, and I'm just going to use the Memento Tuxedo Black. I have used this stamp before on my sample card, so hopefully it'll stamp pretty good. Okay. Put it right there. Okay, not too bad. I like to stamp before I put it on the inside, if I remember to, because if you mess up, then you can always turn it around. But if you glue it down first and then stamp and you mess up, it's a little bit harder work. Okay, so let's put this back. This is a really nice Valentine's stamp set. And it's also got to and from, so you can make nice little Valentines or even gift tags and that. Okay, now this is going to go on the inside. And I'm going to use my glue again. Put it up here so you can see it, hopefully. It's a little bit harder to see on the white. Since this is white, I don't like to put glue on the inside of my white panels because I feel like you can see the ridge. I don't know. You can see the glue lines, so I tend to try and keep it around the edges. And then I rub it in to make sure it doesn't kind of look like moraines. You guys know what moraines are? I mean, we're all from, or a lot of us are from the upper Midwest where we have a lot of moraines from the glaciers. That's what they remind me of, the little glue lines inside. Okay, so basically, I mean, the card is done. If you're using, excuse me, if you're using paper that's a little more plain, you can, I don't know, stamp that, decorate that. I'm using paper that I think speaks for itself, so I did not want to put a lot of stuff on this. I don't think it needs like embellishing dots or anything like that, so I'm going to do all of my decorations on the belly band. Okay, so let's make the belly band now. So this belly band goes on here, and basically it keeps the card closed. Okay, I put another cough drop in, so hopefully my coughing won't continue. Guys, I've had this cough for like 2 weeks now. It's getting a little bit old. The doctor gave me medicine though, so it's supposed to be helping. Okay, so let's look at the belly band. Remember, we cut this piece that is 1 inch by 11. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around, try and center it a little bit on your card. It doesn't have to be exact or whatever, but and then fold it in up against the edges. Now you want to kind of make a balance of, you don't want it to be too tight, and you don't want it to be too loose, because you want it to hold. Okay, see how this is holding this pretty tightly closed, as you know. But you also want to be able to take it on and off. Okay, if it's too tight, it'll be hard to get these on and off. Okay, so it's a nice balance there. So this is what I'm using. It's kind of how I do it. And you want it to overlap in the front. And you see how mine overlaps here? So you want this, wherever the overlap line is, to be covered up by your decoration. So my decoration is pretty big, so where this is fine. If you're using a smaller decoration, like let's see, like if I were using, say I was going to use this part, okay, to cover it up. Okay, you're going to be able to see this, to see that seam. So you can cut this. I could cut this piece off here. Let me just do it a little bit. It doesn't matter on mine because it's going to be covered up. But think about what you're going to put on it, what the decoration is, and then make sure that it's going to be covered up by your decoration. So see now, if I use this, it will be covered up by this heart. The only thing you have to watch is that you still need to make sure that there's a part that's overlapping so you could glue it. Okay? So I'm going to just let me make kind of a little mark here. I can't really see that. I didn't want to do a pencil mark, but I can do a pencil mark because it's going to be covered. Okay, I'm going to mark that this is where the end of the overlap is. So from here to here is overlap. Okay, so I'm going to use some tear and tape. You can use, if you have red line tape or score tape or something kind of strong. I like to use something like this because, people are going to be probably taking this on and off several times. And so you want it to stay on there. Otherwise, you can use just regular adhesive. You could use your glue. This multi-purpose glue is pretty strong. This would work too. And I am going to use a little bit of it here in a second. Put it there. And then a little bit, another bit here. And then, depending on how it is, I like to just put a little bit of glue. It gives you a little bit of time to position it. Now you can put it on your card. To overlap it. You do run the risk of some of the glue coming out and then having your belly band stuck to your card. But I like to do that just so I am sure about the width of my belly band. As you're doing this, you want to make sure that this part and this part is even, that it matches. Okay. Okay, no glue came out, so I think we're good to go. Let's put this back on here. Okay, so now all we have to do is cover that up. Okay, and on this one, I use this heart. So let's see. And I used a fairly big heart because one, I think it kind of needed something, but this Happy Valentine's Day is pretty big. So it wouldn't fit on, this medium size one. I could use a medium size one, but I would have to use one of the other sentiments. Like, I don't know, maybe love you or be mine might fit on there. But I want the Happy Valentine's Day. So let's use this one. Okay. So then you need another piece of basic white. Big enough to accommodate. You can use ephemera. You can use any stamp set that you have, whatever you want. Hi, Sheila. Could somebody on Facebook just comment, because I haven't seen any comments in a long time. Now these are Christmas ephemera, so I'm obviously not going to use these. But what I mean, if you have some already cut ephemera, something like this. Now obviously this is, like I said, winter. Okay, hi mom, thanks. This is winter. But if you have something that's more Valentine's Day or some other stamped images, you can use anything to decorate this. I'm going to cut out this heart. Okay, let's see if this, okay, this piece fits in here. My little cutter. This is the, thanks, Diana. This is the Stampin' Up! um, mini die cutting machine. During celebration, I am going to buy some new pads here because this one's cracked. If you got a Christmas card for me and you saw all of the die cut images, you can probably see why I cracked it, because I cut out, I don't know, so many. Each card had like 15 die cut images on it. Okay. I'm gonna do it this way. I know you can't see it as well, but it's hard for me to guide it the other way. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. This thing is so smooth. Okay. And let's see. Like I said, I'm going to use the Happy Valentine's Day from this set. Because it will fit on there. I was going to see up in the Memento Black, but yeah, because I want to use a Poppy Parade on there. I don't think I have 30 Flamingo or anything. Yeah, I've only got Poppy Parade and Cajun Craze. So let's make it the black. That would be cute to have like the more pink color. Oh, Wendy, thanks for watching. Even if it's quiet, I appreciate it. And I don't think, well, I mean, yeah, I saw your comment on Instagram, so I appreciate it. I just wanted to make sure that my Facebook was working. Normally I have more comments than this. Okay, I'm going to center it on here. But what's cute about this design is I'm obviously making it for Valentine's Day because Valentine's Day coming up, but you know, you could use birthday paper for this and then put like a little cake. Wouldn't that be cute? A little cake on there. Um, Actually, I have um from the new catalog. There's a birthday collection, and there's a really cute cake that would be really cute on the front of that. I think I am allowed to show you my samples. I just can't show you the catalog. Okay, here's what I was talking about. Wouldn't this cake be cute on the front? Actually, wouldn't be bad on the front of this one too. Something like this would be really cute on the front. This is the birthday paper. Actually, this paper's got that gold foiling in it too. This would be cute to use on the front of this card. Anyway, I just wanted to show you an alternative to that. Okay, and then um, I'm going to use this rose and the leaves because that's what's in this stamp set. I did stamp this high enough so that you see how I kind of put this off to the side. Okay, let's see. Here's the rose. And there are dies that cut these out. See, there's the rose die there. And then, so let's do that first. I'm going to use the Poppy Parade. That is one of the colors that's in this. Oh, the Vikings are playing Detroit right now. The Bears won today, which was a miracle. So I do know the Bears won. Yeah, the Minnesota people are quiet today. Okay. That looks pretty good. Inked up pretty good. I like Poppy Parade a lot. Okay, so let's stamp that here. Okay. And then we'll stamp the leaf. Stamp the leaves in shaded spruce because that's what I have for the green. There is this one, this tri-leaf. I'm going to use this one. I think it looks a little more like a rose leaf. And then we'll just cut those out and then basically we will be done. So shaded spruce. Yeah, happy to see them win too. It's a miracle. We've already moved on to Cub season here. At least I have. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let me clean this off and then we'll just cut those out and put them on and then we're kind of done. Okay. So the leaf, here's the die for the leaf. I'm going to die for the flowers. And this is one thing that I really love about the Stampin' Up! Bundles. I know that the Stampin' Up! Bundles are more expensive than the Close to My Heart stamp and die sets were. But all of the Close to My Heart Stampin' die sets, the dies only cut out the images, right? Like if this were a Close to My Heart package, you would have the stamps and then you would have like these 4 dies. That would be it. They just cut out the images. Maybe cutting out one of the words, but I can't remember if they've ever had ones that just cut out the words. But here you've got all of these extra dies in the set. That's why they're more expensive, because they all come with extra dies, things that don't just cut out the stamped images, things that add more depth to your cards. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so let's cut these out. I will tell you this rose and the die, you have to watch how you place it to make sure it fits it properly. Okay. Okay. So let's put our base down. Try and do it here so you can see it. Like I said, I'm getting new plates with the celebration. I'm gonna cut that out when celebration starts. Okay, so what I did is I noticed that there was 2 kind of bigger petals here, a skinny one and then a bigger petal, and I kind of figured that out here. So there's like 2 bigger things here, a small one and then a bigger one. So that's kind of how I figured out how they went. But all you need to do is, turn it around a couple times to make it fit, and you'll get it. Okay. And remember that the Stampin' Up! Dies fit really tight onto the images. So when you put them on, you shouldn't see any white around your stamp. Right now, when you cut it out, there will be a little bit of white, but when you put the die on, you won't see the white until later because it's really tight. Okay, same thing with this one. This is easier because you don't have to turn it around and around, but you want to make sure you place it so that you don't see any white around the stamped images. I've showed you before a trick where if you use the die and cut out a solid piece of cardstock and then use that as a template, that works too. Let me get these out of the way. And okay, so look how nice that is. I don't always use washi tape to tape my pieces down, but I did on these because I really wanted it to be close, because it's on the front of my card, so I really wanted it to be nice. Okay, there you go. Okay, let me put these back so I don't lose them. You guys always put your dies and your stamps back on in your box or whatever so that you don't lose them. Because if they sit out on my desk, they'll get swept up in this dumpster of a desk that I've got here. Okay. So now I'm just going to kind of arrange this on here how I want. Just dry arranging it. So I like the looks of it. Let me move this up a little bit. Okay. And then I'm just going to glue that down. But when you glue it down, remember, you see how this piece, how this little tip is sticking. Let me show you up here. You see how the little tip of this leaf is sticking out? You don't want to put glue on that. Okay. So I'm going to actually hold it with my tweezers from there, so I remember not to put glue there. And then I'm just going to add a little bit here. So you can add your glue or whatever adhesive you're going to use, but make sure you pay attention to the part that's going to be hanging over the edge, if there is any. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. So you can see it's stuck on there. I don't have any glue there, so it'll be fine. And then same thing with my rose. See the rose, basically this half of the rose is going to be colored or glued to the paper, and then this half isn't. So let me get my little tweezers here. Okay, and then I'm just going to put glue right on this half. And it's better to be safe than sorry, so don't go very far on there. It'll hold. And then stick it down where you like it. Okay. And since we use glue, I got a little bit of time to move it around. There we go. Okay. Now all we have to do is attach this to our belly band. Okay. And again, this is kind of the same with gluing the decorations on the heart here. Don't put glue on the whole back of this, right? Because if you do and you put the belly band on, it's going to glue to the front of here. You want this heart or whatever decoration you have on there only to be attached to the belly band. So what I'm going to do is, let me see if I can just kind of make a little marks here and here. I marked it with my pencil, and I'm going to do it light so that I can hopefully erase that again in a little bit. And then I'm going to use some tear and tape and only put it between those marks, right? Because you don't want it to be outside of where the heart is, and you don't want anything above it that's going to get onto your card. Okay. I'm going to take my little, sorry, my head hit the phone, so if it bounced, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm just going to erase those. You don't have to put the marks. You can just eyeball it, but I wanted to show you. You could put things directly on your card back, but then you don't really know where you're going to place it. And again, I'm going to put a little bit of glue here so that I have a little bit of wiggle room before it sticks right down. Okay. And then I'm going to center this on here. But it's actually a little bit, above center. Okay. Okay, so let's put this down. Put it down right like that. Okay. Now you see I don't have any glue here of this part that's sticking out. Okay, and then we're done. This is a really easy Funfold card. Really easy Funfold card. There we go. I really like it with the pink there. Okay. So, just to recap, the card base was 5.5 by 11. I scored it at 1 1/4, 3 3/8, and then flipped the card over and did a 1 1/4 and 3 3/8. These pieces here are 1 inch by 5 1/4. The pieces in here are 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then the inside, there is a 4 by 5 1/4 white piece that I stamped with the sentiment. And then the belly band was 1 inch by 11. And again, you can trim up the belly band a little bit to so that the seam is covered up by whatever decoration you're going to be using. Okay? And then you can decorate it however you wanted. I just left it a little bit I don't want to say simple because this is really not simple, but I didn't put dots or, anything on here because this paper, I wanted the paper to shine, literally, right? This Marbled Elegance paper. Okay? And then I used the Hearts of Elegance stamp set. Okay? Oh gosh, look at this. I almost left this out there and I would have. I did add, I added this magnetic sheet to my um, stamp box so that I could keep my dies with my stamps. I got those off of Amazon. Okay. Like I said, next week I'm making a scrapbook layout. This is a scrapbook layout I'm going to be making. Using some of that paper, using some gold foil paper. Okay. If you like any of the things you see today, my January house code is KGHWM3WY. It's a new house code. But I don't want to tell you to wait to order, but wait till the 7th. Wait till January 7th when celebration starts. Remember, celebration is starting the 7th, which is Tuesday. Hey, Julie. So celebration starts on Tuesday. So for every $60, you can pick an item out of this catalog as a free gift. And there's a lot of things in here. I can't show you the inside, but I can show you that there's lots and lots of pages in here of stuff you can select from. Okay. I do have the cutting diagram or cutting guide on my blog, periodicallycrafty.blogspot.com. And I did drop a link to the resource page that tells you what all the products that I used on here. Thanks, Cece. I appreciate it. Okay, but this is a card that you can use for anything. Like I said, a birthday, Easter's coming up. There's some really cute Easter designs in the new catalog. Let's see what else is in there. Oh, there's a beach themed one. Let's see, what else do I have? I am going live on Tuesday to show a lot of samples from the new catalog and the celebration catalog. So remember, on Tuesday, we've got the new mini catalog going live, the January to April catalog. You've got new online exclusives. You've got the celebration catalog, and there's a new scrapbooking workshop brochure. Plus, there's 3 new kits. But I don't know. I didn't see the kits yet, so I don't know what the new kits are. But they're doing 3 new kits. You know how they used to release 2 new kits? I think this year they're going to do 3 kits per month. So, anyway, this is a really easy Funfold card. Not a lot of messing around, folding and gluing and all of that stuff. This is a really easy, but I think it looks really amazing. Okay. Okay, next week, scrapbook layout, but also join me Tuesday for the catalog walkthrough. Oh, and also Thursday, I'm doing the paper pumpkin. I'm doing the December paper pumpkin kit. So that'll be on Thursday. I'm doing the paper pumpkin kits on Thursday this quarter because I'm teaching a Friday night lab. So I know before I was doing the paper pumpkins on Friday nights, but I have a lab. So I have to do them on Thursdays. I'd much rather be doing paper pumpkin than doing a lab with students who hate to be there, but there we go. That's my job. Keeps me being able to buy this stuff. So you got to do what you got to do. Okay. Okay. If you have any questions, check out my blog, check out my resource page, and there's a couple opportunities to catch up with me. What time? 7 on Tuesday and on Thursday. Central time. Okay. Okay. See you then. Bye.